Happy start of Pride Month, everybody, and if you have any kind of problem with that statement, there's the door, metaphorically.
And literally, maybe, depending on where you are and, wherever you are.
Yeah, just assume I'm pointing at the door.
Yeah, just assume we're pointing at the nearest door to you.
Don't let it hit you on the way out, unless you sign this metaphorical liability waiver first, then feel free.
But that's a doggy door. It's like, well, time to get creative then.
Did I stutter? No, welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes gaming news, sometimes comic news, sometimes movie news, well, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review. I was so close.
Now that's the stuff, hostess.
Almost. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like that sort of thing, but only if you're not a homophobe, because I want more subs, but not that badly.
Yes, indeed.
Just don't be a transphobe. Or just be cool. Be cool.
Don't be a
yeah,
Don't be a
that's the one.
Does need to be censored?
I
Since
don't
we're
know.
in the first 90 seconds?
Maybe. It's even worse then because you said it multiple times.
I said it 3 times.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get better because the State of Play happened this week and we both barely paid any attention to it because I feel like we both kind of fallen off with Sony at this point.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that there was a State of Play until... It wasn't even until a customer mentioned it. And it's like, oh, crap! And we tried to put it on our TVs at work, only to join in at literally, right when it ended.
Oh, nice.
But immediately following that was the Silent Hill livestream as well, where they showed a little bit more gameplay of the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake, a new trailer for the Silent Hill 2 remake, and a bunch of stuff with the Silent Hill logo plastered all of it that Konami wants you to give them money for.
Buy our stuff!
Yes, buy our stuff indeed. And I think, if I remember right, they did also talk a little bit more about the new Silent Hill movie as well.
Oh, neat. That's cool, at least.
Yeah, it's, oh god, what is this thing called again? Oh, Return to Silent Hill. As far as I know, there hasn't really been a lot said about it deeply, other than some behind-the-scenes stuff. Pyramid Head is going to be in it, though.
Oh, Pyramid Head is a Silent Hill movie! That's a surprise!
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Of course I'm being sarcastic! Are you serious?
I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, you are not being for real right now.
What do you take me for? Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
No, and apparently the remake is releasing October 8th?
Oh, this year?
I think.
That still feels too early.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is.
Mm.
I mean, I know they're remaking from the ground up, obviously, but they gotta already know what they're doing with the game. So, I mean, it's a remake.
I mean, I want to believe so, but all the game things that have come out following the main games from Silent Hill, like the remakes and whatever, or the collections, have usually fallen off in some capacity. So, we'll see.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot that really caught my interest skimming this recap because I didn't have time to watch the entire thing, but God of War Ragnarok's coming to PC, that's neat.
Yes.
Marvel Rivals gets a closed beta test in July, that's cool.
Sure.
And we also, they also have a new game, Astrobot, which I guess is based around the PS5 mascot or something. Yeah. It looked pretty cute.
Sure.
It looked like a neat little platformer.
Fair.
Which is part of why it caught my attention, because that's usually all I feel like I have time for these days.
I mean, I'm sitting here, I feel that because I keep on buying stuff. It's like, I don't have time to play this. Looking at weird Japanese racing game, looking at Racing Lagoon on PS1, which is a Square Enix street racing RPG, looking at buying Silent Hill 4.
Really?
The music for these games is amazing, and I'm extremely annoyed for how expensive they are.
Yeah, alright. So yeah, that was pretty much the only things that really caught my interest for this, but feel free to let us know in the comments. What if you saw the State of Play, what are you looking forward to? Specifically, what are you looking forward to that we didn't mention at all? Roast us in the comments. Feel free.
By all means, give us that mildly negative engagement, I think, ...
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Or feel free to share if you're excited with something that we also talked about, if very unenthusiastically.
Yes, indeed.
There's a PS5 in my house. I have full access to it. I just haven't touched it.
I don't know what to tell you there. Because once again, the main interest I have in the PS5 is not Gran Turismo. Which I think, if you know me personally, that's all you need to know about the state of video games.
Fair. Yeah, I'm pretty much just getting games for my Switch now, and that's it.
Yeah.
So here's some news.
Oh boy.
The Masters of the Universe movie that's in the works apparently has cast He-Man.
Okay.
It's an actor I'm not familiar with. His name's Nicholas Galitzine.
Let's see if I can look him up a little bit. If I could spell his name correctly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he definitely looks like He-Man, that's for sure. A little bit. In the pictures that are shown on Google, the way that he kind of has a slight upward look kind of gives me He-Man vibes a little bit.
You know what? I can see the vision a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see the vision. Really, the main thing that caught my interest, and I don't know if this was brought up before, or if this is new information, but apparently Travis Knight is directing, which is interesting to me, because he also directed Kubo and the Two Strings and Bumblebee.
Okay.
So, a really good animated movie, and also the best live-action Transformers movie we've ever gotten.
Fair.
And it ain't even close. Not even a little bit.
Oh, this guy played Jeff in Bottoms.
Oh! Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Was that the main stupid jock?
That was the main stupid jock.
Oh, the one they were gonna kill, yeah, at the football game.
Yes, the one that they nearly set off a bomb for.
Yeah, alright, cool, okay, yeah. I'm a little disappointed in myself for not seeing that. Huh, okay, yeah, I'm a little more sold on the He-Man.
Fair.
Not that He-Man's usually that stupid, but then again, the longest exposure I've had to any kind of He-Man project is watching the relatively recent She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which is really good, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Oh, yeah.
It hit me in the feels, over and over. I was dead-ass crying for a bit there. And I was not expecting that either. I did not go into watching a She-Ra series to be hit in the feels, and yet here I am.
God, that sounds like me playing Armored Core 6. It's like, I came for this crazy-ass action mecha game, not to get hit in the feels.
I didn't come here to be emotionally devastated, thank you!
Right.
No, it's good though. Also funny.
Quite.
Anyways, I'm happy to report that the planned Exorcist trilogy has been canned in the wake of Exorcist Believer's performance.
Good? That is good, right?
Kind of, except they're still making another Exorcist movie, just unrelated.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's not going to be a sequel. They got Mike Flanagan directing what Blumhouse is calling a radical new take.
That already sounds horrible.
Yeah, now I'm just picturing Reagan from the first Exorcist, but she's on a skateboard.
Yeah, no. It's like...
Your mother half pipes in hell!
It's like a brand new take. Reagan just comes in on a skateboard, just going down with the proletariat while being chased by ghosts.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
I call this one the Pazuzu.
Oh my god. That's a word now. That is a word on this show.
I mean, that's just a demon name. That's the demon from The Exorcist, is Pazuzu.
Oh, okay. That's a stupid-ass name.
Why do you think Futurama used it for Farnsworth's Gargoyle? Of course it's stupid.
If a demon came up to me and said my name is Pazuzu, it'd be like the one guy in Guardians 2 where every time he said his name, everyone laughed in his face.
Taserface.
Yeah, Taserface. I am Pazuzu.
It's just
you're for real.
You waking up in the morning, sir, looking in the mirror and telling yourself in all seriousness, you know what would be a really kick-ass name? Pazuzu!
Pazuzu!
So I can see it. No, I'm quite excited that I don't have to sit through an Exorcist Believer sequel, at least.
Oh, that's good.
That was very disappointing for me. If I was really lucky, they would just leave it alone, but I guess they saw somebody else making the exorcism and just went,
Nope. We'll show them what we've got.
We'll show them how it's done. We'll see. Get me a trailer. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
We got some Knives Out 3 casting. Well, I should call it what it is. Wake Up Dead Man has some casting now.
Yes.
And the cast includes Jeremy Renner, Josh Brolin, Kerry Washington, Mila Kunis, Josh O'Connor, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, and Glenn Close.
That's a cast.
I mean, these movies always manage to get a really freaking amazing cast.
Yeah.
That's nothing new. But also just, oh god, they really make it hard to pull that mystery thing where you could... It's in certain mystery films, you could usually guess that the highest profile actor is the one who did it.
I was gonna say, and the villain is Jeremy Renner.
I'm gonna just, with no evidence whatsoever, say it's Mila Kunis.
Fair.
I have no reason for this. I have no evidence to support this claim. That's just my throwing darts at a board. If I'm right, I'm gonna sit back, kick my feet up, and go, I got nothing for that.
Or it'll be another thing of, alright, I'm pretty sure you did it, I just have no idea how you did it.
Yeah! That happened to me in the first Knives Out.
Yeah, which is honestly pretty novel.
Because once the perspective shifts and they try to make you think Marta did it, I went, oh, wait, but... Oh? What?
Yeah.
No, as always, this is a pretty dang stellar cast, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, same.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, no, the first movie and the second movie were absolute bangers. Hopefully this one also doesn't live in Netflix jail.
It will. It probably will.
Unfortunate.
Hell, who knows? This one might be more in Netflix jail than Glass Onion, if Netflix wants to be particularly stupid. I feel like you're really just leaving money on the table by not releasing these in theaters, at least for a little bit.
Yeah. Anyone who saw the first movie is going to be interested in it, because the first movie is genuinely fantastic. And even if they've never seen the movies, they'll hopefully look at this cast and be like, this is a ridiculous cast, I have to see this.
Yeah, especially because you don't even have to have seen any of... so far, they've been... The first two were completely unconnected beyond Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
There is no... You don't have to know anything about Knives Out, it seems like, to watch any of these, which is how it should be. That's a really good mystery franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
Just drop in and watch Daniel Craig do an absolutely atrocious southern accent and having the time of his life.
It's so god-awful that it circles back around to being genuinely charming.
Oh, yes! I'm gonna rant at Pixar now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Go off, Queen.
I intend to.
Sorry.
No, that was great. Pixar president Jim Morris has set a course for what Pixar intends to be doing in coming years.
Oh boy.
Their plan is for the studio to release 3 movies every 2 years, with every other title a sequel or spin-off, and the rest standalone concepts or potential seeds for new franchises.
I already don't like the sound of that.
Oh, it gets worse!
Does it now?
According to the piece in Bloomberg, which I can't read because they want me to sign up and I refuse to do that, they're also looking at, and this is an exact quote, reboots for movies like Finding Nemo and The Incredibles.
No. Well, first off, The Last Incredibles was like only a few years ago.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and second, no, just let Finding Nemo and Finding Dory just rest at the bottom of the sea like they deserve, please.
Yeah, well, okay, the first Finding Nemo was great.
Oh, it was. I mean, time-wise, it's fine. They're fine. There doesn't need to be more.
No.
I'm Sigourney Weaver.
He might just mean reboot in the sense of continuation of the universe and not like an actual reboot, but it's one of those things where you would really hope that when talking to a major publication, the president of a studio like Pixar would know the difference and differentiate accordingly.
Yeah.
And it gets worse!
Oh, does it now?
It gets even worse! Apparently, in the wake of underperformances in movies like Luca, Turning Red, and Elemental, which were considered, according to them, more autobiographical and personal for filmmakers, they want to move more towards things with mass appeal.
Ooh, that's the death of art right there. Yeah.
And it's especially sad to hear coming from Pixar. Especially because, from what I understand, he framed it as like, oh yeah, we want to move to more stuff like Lightyear that has that mass appeal. No, you don't, because Lightyear was bad. At least to me. And it didn't perform that well.
Yeah. No, like, oh god, how did that movie do again? I know it wasn't well. Hold on.
Not the greatest, at least.
Oh, of course not. Let's see, Lightyear
$226 million.
Oof. Yeah, against a $200 million budget.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's pretty poor. That's extremely poor.
And the other thing is, the reason why movies like Luca and Turning Red didn't do particularly well isn't because they were more personally driven stories. It's because you kneecapped them. Well, okay, maybe not you specifically, but your bosses kneecapped them by putting them on Disney Plus first. You sent them out to die.
Yeah, you just immediately send them out into the pasture.
And I didn't even like Turning Red. I shut that movie off 12 minutes in, specifically because I found the family experience too unrelatable and honestly a little traumatic to be worth watching.
Fair.
But I will defend to the death the right to make movies like it, even if I'm a little sick. Okay, so, and I've said this before, I know, I'm a little sick of Disney Pixar pulling the oh, antagonistic parental figures are more tragic, misunderstood figures with pain of their own to be reached out to and reconciled with. And I kind of missed back when they were just obstacles that you could kick in the teeth and have done with it, but...
Yeah. No, I just looked up, because I had never seen Turning Red, I know nothing about it, but I'm looking at, as an example of Disney being stupid, being like, we're gonna put it in Disney Plus, and then wondering, oh wait, why didn't it do well? This movie apparently had a box office of $21.5 million against a $175 million budget.
Yeah, because they put it on Disney Plus first.
Yeah, and it's like, you guys do that and go like, we didn't make any money. It's like, no shit.
And how dare you lump Elemental in there, because that was apparently directly based on the director's own immigrant family. And that movie ended up doing fine when you gave it room to breathe in theaters.
Yeah.
Because when it started off, it didn't have a particularly strong opening, and everybody was deriding it, and then lo and behold, I think even I got in on that probably, it turned around, and, oh, look, actually it made its money back. Because good word of mouth kept it going, because the experience, the personal experience and message infused in this movie resonated with people. Whereas Lightyear didn't. I wonder why. Maybe because you marketed it as the movie Andy would have seen as a kid, and then instead you made a Pixar movie, which is fine. That's not the movie that would make a kid in the mid-90s go out and buy a Buzz Lightyear toy. The movie that would have made a kid in the mid-90s go out and buy a Buzz Lightyear toy already got made in, I want to say, the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was called Buzz Lightyear Star Command!
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, yeah, and it's specifically the pilot episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
And before anybody says anything about it could have been a movie in the 90s, it had a gay couple in it, that's not what I mean, you're not affiliated with me!
Yes, no, we don't claim you. I don't know you, get off our purse.
What I mean is the fact that I don't mean to make this a Lightyear review again, but what I mean is the fact that in a mid-90s action movie designed to sell toys to kids, they wouldn't have bothered explaining where Buzz got the jetpack and the laser and all of his sidekicks. It would have just happened. It would have been fully formed. He would have been in this Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Well, okay, Buzz Lightyear Star Command did that, but they did it better. They didn't have to explain where all the Ranger equipment came from, you know?
Fair.
And also, they wouldn't have given the bad guy some personal thematic resonance thing, like with Zurg. Zurg would have just been a big, evil bad guy to stop, and we liked it that way!
Man, I need to rewatch that movie. Although I'm scared of rewatching it, because I have a feeling that what will happen to me is the same thing what happened when I watched Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
When did you watch Thomas and the Magic Railroad recently?
Oh, through different means.
And you didn't invite me!
It was like a year and a half ago, and it was completely out of curiosity of... One of the big things that got me to do it, again, was when the whole thing came out about Alec Baldwin and, like, someone dying on the set of Rust, and it's like, I should rewatch Thomas and the Tank Engine! That's
a hell of a way to go back to that movie!
Because it just started a whole thing of like, oh, that's right, Alec Baldwin is this. Can I tolerate this movie as an adult? And the answer is kind of.
No, absolutely. It's definitely made for kids. But tell you what, the phrase mountain, fountain, that might be something. I think I'll try the celery. Lives right free in my head. I haven't seen that movie in goddamn years, and I still have that occasionally just cycling through.
Yeah.
As Mr. Conductor eats vegetables and slowly loses his mind.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a particularly distressing comment coming from Pixar. Anyone at Pixar. But especially the guy in charge.
Yeah, just a bit.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
Okay. What brand is the soap?
I don't know.
Okay.
Depends on what soap brand wants to sponsor this video. Or a future one. I'll go back, I'll edit it in. I'm not gonna do that, that's too much work. But...
Fair.
So we got some more Captain America news.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Captain America Brave New World is doing a 22-day reshoot, but according to The Hollywood Reporter, this is actually the first round of reshoots it's had.
And that movie comes out, what, next year?
February 14th, and it was delayed from July 26th of this year.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. That sounds like a small window of time to get that done.
No, 22 days of reshoots isn't that bad.
Well, I'm thinking about the reshoots and then the editing and all that.
That's still 7 months.
Fair enough.
And I mean, to be fair, that's also... Oh, okay, not to be fair, but that's also better than some other Marvel movies have done. Fun reminder, the Avengers post-credit scene was done after the premiere.
Really?
Yeah!
That's amazing.
No, they had the idea for the joke, and then they had to shoot it at the premiere because it was the only time that everybody was all together to shoot it.
Oh, that's something.
All right. Yeah, they have a history of this, and it's not the greatest on the poor VFX and editing people, but... I think 7 months is a pretty decent window in this case.
Understandable, then.
Now, it's also interesting because we've been talking about Giancarlo Esposito's Mystery Marvel role.
You're right.
And apparently, the project he's going to be starring in first, or at least going to be part of first, where he says his role is teased, is Captain America Brave New World.
Oh, okay.
And all that's been said is he's a villain.
I am leaning towards him being the new King, personally.
But what would Kang be doing? I say what would Kang be doing in a Captain America movie, but what the hell is Red Hulk and the Leader doing in a Captain America movie?
Yeah.
That's a real question. There is a little bit of speculation going around, and I really hate to... You know what? I'm not gonna get into it.
We won't entertain the speculation.
No, I'm not gonna give rumor mongers and then I don't have another word. I'm tired. What do you want from me?
Mongers of rumor.
Yeah. I like rumors and mongering about rumors. Also, this one's a little bit of an ominous statement, just because.
Oh boy.
While the Hollywood Reporter's talking about these reshoots, it says Julius Ona remains the director. It's like, oh, was that ever in doubt? Is that a question?
What is that supposed to mean? Man, that sounds like some shit like a jealous ex would say almost, just the way that sounds. Oh, and by the way, they're still the director. It's like, what is that supposed to mean? Was something bad supposed to happen that never transpired?
No, it's like going into a doctor's office for a routine checkup and they go, by the way, you still don't have cancer. It's like, okay, what?
Okay.
Why are you bringing that up?
Yeah, it's like, is there something here I need to know about?
You make it sound like there was an expectation that wouldn't be the case. Are you not telling me something?
Yeah, it's like, oh, we actually took bets on if you had cancer or not.
Ah, good to know. You're fired. I want to look forward to this movie, but I really need a trailer.
Yeah, same, honestly.
I really need an idea. Because, on the one hand, apparently at CinemaCon, Kevin Feige promised no aliens, no alien invasions, no time travel, and called it a relatively grounded action film. But you've got the Leader in it, you've got Harrison Ford playing the guy who typically turns into Red Hulk. Merchandising is already kind of spoiled that Red Hulk's probably in it.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I don't find fighting a couple of Hulk baddies particularly grounding. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Give me a reason to be excited. Come on, do it. I like getting excited for things. I prefer being excited over things. It beats the alternative.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, being pessimistic and miserable all the time is not fun.
No, it's not fun at all.
And yet somehow for Sony I manage. Which is probably the perfect transition into trailer time.
Trailer time.
It's trailer time again. We've got movie previews to watch. It's trailer time again. And the reason it's a perfect transition is that we have a first trailer, finally, for Venom: The Last Dance.
Which, I know.
Yeah!
I'm not sold on this, in all honesty.
I wish I was! This looks like a fun time. A stupid time, but a fun time.
Yeah.
And yet here I am thinking, okay, how are they gonna muck this one up? Because, okay, there is merit in, if you're gonna adapt Venom, and particularly if you're gonna adapt Venom, but you can't touch Spider-Man, because otherwise Marvel Studios will get mad at you, and then they'll stop making your Spider-Man movies for you. The way to go is probably stupid Lethal Protector era Venom, where the character is as dumb as a sack of hammers, but really entertaining.
Right.
But the first movie took entirely too long to get to that, and then the second movie proceeded to separate the best parts of the movie from each other for too dang long, and also you fucked up Carnage.
Yeah, just a tad.
And then this one just looks like it's Venom fighting more goo monsters. I'm sick of fighting goo monsters. Give him something else.
I also like how my brain couldn't help but go, it's like, are we about to get 2 for 2 in someone asking a dumbass question with an obvious answer in a Spider-Man adjacent movie? Because in Madam Web, we had Maddie Franklin's saying to Cassie Webb, oh, how did you know? And then in this movie, we have Eddie Brock going, there has to be a reason they're chasing us. It's like, are you fucking serious?
You're a dangerous fucking killer!
Yeah, it's like, have you seen you?
I know you're doing it for the side of good, technically, but you still brutally murder people.
There has to be a reason they're going after us. It's like, you are literally a walking nuclear warhead.
You're a giant monster! You're a giant, horrifying monster!
Yeah, that eats people's heads.
In a world that seems kind of maybe devoid of those, but maybe there's starting to be more. I don't know if Morbius is set in the same universe. Okay, there are some things that I like, though. They're all
Okay.
relatively small things, but they're things that I like. I kind of like that Eddie and Venom are still fucking up We Are Venom. On the one hand,
I felt like that bit went too long, in all honesty.
it definitely went too long. And on the one hand, I feel like if there's such a good match of host and symbiote, then they probably should be better at that. But I do like they're still not totally in sync because, well, Venom's kind of a moron.
Right.
So I like that. I actually like Eddie doing a Venom impression badly. That is really funny, because when Venom goes, "We're on the run, in the shit," and then Eddie just goes, "We are living the dream, my friend." Really? No! Just the way he says "we're living the dream, my friend" in an obvious imitation of Venom is really funny and kind of impressive, considering he is Venom.
Yeah.
So that's really funny. I kind of like the horse. I like the Venom horse.
That was cool. I wanted to kind of ask you about that. That's not Comet the Space Horse, right?
That's DC, Greg. No, it is not Comet the Space Horse.
Good, then we don't have any kind of copyright infringement.
Yeah, no. You know what? I bet if Sony thought they could get away with it,
Yeah.
they'd put Comet the Super Horse in Madam Web. And then he'd have a crush on Cassie or maybe somebody else, I don't know. Nah.
Yeah.
No, I'd really like to be psyched about this, because I on paper I like stupid-ass Lethal Protector Venom, but it's Sony, so don't get your hopes up.
Right.
Seeing people go like, "Give it a chance, guys." I've been giving Sony a chance. That's why I watched Venom 2, and Morbius, and Madam Web.
And probably Kraven.
If this movie gets delayed one more time, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind! I just want it to come out, I want it to bomb, I want to never have to think about Kraven again, and nothing terrifies me more than the idea that this movie comes out and is moderately successful enough that they decide to greenlight another one, and then I have to think about Kraven some more.
Kraven will eventually get his raisin.
That's so good. Lions killed his mom, I bet.
The lions killed me, Mom!
So we also got the first trailer for Moana 2.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's only fine.
It looks pretty.
Oh yeah, it's definitely very pretty.
It doesn't actually look like it started off as a Disney Plus series, I'll give it that.
Which is good.
Yeah. I don't like that the one bit of actual dialogue we get is just a rehash of a not particularly memorable joke from the first one.
Yeah, when The Rock came and made that joke, it's just like, wait, what? Did he say this in the first movie? I genuinely don't remember.
Yeah, boat snack was a thing. But the fact that you don't remember just speaks to it's definitely not one of the more memorable things.
Right.
So it's like, really, that's your best foot forward, huh? That's what you want to lead with.
That's the best you can freaking do.
This is your king? This is what you all got.
This is what you came for.
Also, this is a nitpick. This is a really stupid nitpick. I'm gonna get on it anyway.
Right. Okay.
I hate why didn't you bring the pig the first time? Because that's just a joke at people complaining about that once the movie came out. And the thing people weren't complaining about wasn't that she didn't bring the pig. It's that she didn't bring the pig, but the pig was all over the marketing.
Oh, really?
Yeah!
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was just a genuine joke from him.
No, it's clearly Disney going like, haha, yep, the pig's coming along this time. You can be happy now, guys. The problem was never that the pig wasn't there. The problem that the pig wasn't there and you created the expectation it was going to be there by merchandising the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Come on!
Yeah, no, that's fair.
How stupid do you think I am? Don't answer that. The answer is probably more than you think. Anyways, I want to be excited for this one. And I am more than Venom the Last Dance, but that's not saying a lot.
Yeah, it's not by a high amount.
Because all I can think is, in the back of my head, this was supposed to be a TV show, and now they've trimmed it down to a movie. And Disney historically doesn't have a great track record with that. Stares at Atlantis Milo's Return. Where they just took 3 episodes of a prospective pilot series for an Atlantis The Lost Empire television series, and then stitched it together.
Yeah.
Where's the Atlantis The Lost Empire remake? Where's the justice there?
Wait, was that supposed to happen?
No!
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, like, if that's supposed to happen, it's not happening, then I will be upset at that,
It keeps getting, it's one of those, like, people make up rumors and shit all the time that, they're gonna do it, Quit toying with my emotions!
Yeah, quit doing this to me. Stop making me be emotional about my childhood, please.
And I know that's not Disney's fault that leakers make shit up, but if you're trying to figure out, hey, maybe we can make some money doing this, maybe take the thing that wasn't wildly successful the first time and see maybe you can, like, tweak it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I already think Atlantis the Lost Empire was a pretty damn good movie anyway, so there's only so much tweaking necessary. It was probably more a marketing problem.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Treasure Planet did not do great, which is a shame. That movie's a masterpiece.
Right.
No, Moana 2. It's in November, I think.
Alrighty.
It's Maui time, I guess, again.
It's Maui time.
And then we also got a trailer for Wolves, directed by John Watson, starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
This looks like fun.
I am very excited.
I am very sold on this, because it just looks like the two of them just... It feels like Hobbs and Shaw, but not as aggressively nonsensical.
Yeah.
While still being quite nonsensical.
Oh, God. I'm flashing back to bits of Hobbs and Shaw and just... Part of it's because I hate The Rock, but...
I mean, I will still go on and say that even though it was objectively not a good movie, I still like that movie.
Now, what happened to the guns? I got rid of them. Very good, Mrs. Hobbs. We're all gonna die.
My favorite part about that movie, if nothing else, just because Vanessa Kirby's face lives rent free in my head, is still the whole bit of Shaw meeting with the mercenary that he used to hook up with, making out horrifically aggressively, and Vanessa Kirby's just amazing shocked little sister face.
Shocked Pikachu meme.
Yeah.
Oh man. What we're talking? Right, wolves. Which I even like the title. I even respect the title because it's not wolves. Because they're not. Yeah. They're not a group of wolves. They are not a plural of wolves. They are two separate wolves.
Yeah, who are just forced to be together.
I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And although the premise is silly, but not in a way that really bugs me.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, you double booked clearing up a murder, huh? Okay, but it looks funny. I like the way they play off each other.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like it's gonna be a pretty funny time, and also John Watts is a good filmmaker. Case in point.
Oh yeah,
he did the last two Spider-Mans.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And was gonna do Fantastic Four before he decided to take a break from cape shit.
I don't blame him.
Nah.
I don't know if this was a fear, but I could see it being a thing. No, I'm afraid of becoming a one-trick pony.
He's also showrunner, director, executive producer, and a writer and creator of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. So.
Okay.
Which we still don't have a release date for, I don't think, beyond this year. Let's go to box office.
Let's do the box office.
We did not see the highest grossing movie this year. This year. Wow.
As far as we know.
No, Jeff, it's still Dune Chapter 2.
Oh, okay, so far
Dune
you've seen...
2.
So far you've seen the highest grossing movie of this year.
Yeah, no, as for this weekend, still definitely not.
Okay.
The movie that took first place was the Garfield movie.
Really?
Yep, $14 million domestic weekend, $51.57 million domestic total, and $152.27 million worldwide. I guess a $60 million budget, so seems like it's making some money back.
Oh yeah.
But the movie we saw, In a Violent Nature, $2.1 million domestic weekend and total, no worldwide information. Also can't find the budget, but I'm sure it's probably not that high.
No, I'd be very shocked if it was particularly high.
So, In a Violent Nature, it is a slasher movie.
A pun.
It's also a pun. It's been described as an ambient slasher, because it mostly takes place from the perspective of the killer. See...
Ambient is a way to describe it, then.
Yeah. It follows Johnny, who is a undead killer? Yeah, he's undead. He's definitely undead.
I would say so.
Whose resting place is disturbed, prompting him to rise from his grave, as Altered Beast would say, and seek revenge. And yeah, we watch him go around killing people.
Mostly killing dumb teenagers.
Yeah. Well, okay, we mostly watch him walking around, and then killing people.
Yeah. And then killing people. Killing people in some really gnarly ways, no less.
Yeah, no, okay. So, on the whole... I like this movie, but I probably respect what it was trying to do more than I like it.
I would agree with that, because my takeaway as I'm watching it is definitely more of a thing of, this definitely fills the description of like a slasher movie or a thriller. This is probably the most artsy slasher movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Overall, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like in the same vein, part of the reason why I had a decently good time with it was just because I was interested in what it was doing rather than how it came out.
Fair. It's, you know what, I'll put it in the same vein as Skinamarink, where it's an interesting concept. I don't know that it's enough for a feature-length movie.
Yeah.
Could make a pretty damn good short film, though.
Yeah.
Although, I guess the flip side there is if you make it a short film, then it's harder to really get inside the killer's head and really let that sit.
Right.
So, But I probably like it less than Skinamarink, if only because, unlike Skinamarink, In a Violent Nature doesn't seem to be willing to commit to its premise all the way. It cheats it here and there. And when it cheats it, it's both not as interesting, even from okay, what are they going for here? But also, it's not as well made.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
The shots where we don't follow the killer, the camera work is worse. The dialogue isn't particularly engaging. And part of that's the point, because these are all generic slasher movie victims, but it's also I thought we were focusing on the killer here. What are we doing?
Yeah, I honestly feel like, other than a couple key bits of dialogue, for the most part, the times that we're looking at the generic victims don't really add to the movie, I guess, for the time that's spent, focusing, where they're the focus more so than the undead spirit. It doesn't feel like it adds anything to the overall experience of the film.
There's one scene where I feel like it's some necessary exposition, but the exposition also didn't necessarily need to be delivered in that way. And I feel like that's more of a spoiler thing, but we'll get into it.
Right.
However, the kills in this, gnarly.
Holy shit.
Potentially some of the most uncomfortable kills I've seen in a horror movie in a while, possibly ever?
Yeah, one of which in particular had you and the whole theater just groaning and being like,
no,
Jesus.
No, stop that at once.
Yeah. And it's also a thing of the kill in question also tricked me horribly, because I figured, okay, they're going to go for the obvious no. Oh, no, we're not going for the obvious. Oh, we're going to drag this shit out.
Oh, this is much worse.
God. This is so much worse. I've gotten better when it comes to watching people get killed on the big screen, but that was one where I kind of had to move my glasses out of the way and kind of cover my eyes a little bit, because it got to a point where it's like, yeah, I can't watch this in full 1080p.
Just insert the Simpsons meme of, stop, he's already dead.
And that fits, because this person was already extremely dead, and homie's just like, let's just make them deader.
Yeah. Okay, one thing about this movie that is definitely interesting, I don't know how well it works, but it's interesting. There's no, what's the differentiation? Non-diegetic soundtrack in here?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's no score. There's no arranged score or anything like that for this movie. There is music, but it's not music made for the movie, if that makes sense. It's literally bits of music that are played in certain scenes. It's literally music that the characters are listening to, which it adds to the whole thing of no, these are just people. These are just random-ass people doing their thing, one of which being listening to some songs. A couple of which I do actually need to go and figure out what they are, because some of the songs that were played were songs that I liked quite a bit.
Yeah, but most of the time it's just nature sounds, which gives you time to stew on things, think it over, look around, take in the sights.
That is definitely the ambient bit of the descriptor for this movie.
But I feel like those go on maybe a little too long. Especially because, and part of it is, while he's walking through the woods, and maybe this isn't on me, maybe this is an expectation problem, I have a prevailing thing where I keep thinking, okay, what's going to jump out and surprise? Oh, wait, no, he's the killer.
Yeah.
Where my brain's doing a double take of, I'm expecting something dramatic to happen, but nothing's going to happen. He is the thing that happens.
And you know what's bad is that one of the reasons I don't like a lot of horror slasher movies is because of how often they go for things like that, like jump scares and whatnot, because that stuff does actively build my anxiety. And it's a thing of at a certain point going, oh wait, we're following the killer.
Yeah.
I am shockingly at ease.
It's both reassuring, but also it kind of takes the wind out of the sails for how long those scenes go.
Yeah.
Because it's okay, something's gonna happen. No, nothing's gonna happen. Huh.
We're focused on our villain.
Or at least nothing's gonna happen that we don't see coming from a mile away because we're watching the guy who's gonna do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that would happen otherwise would be complete BS.
And that's why I gotta say, I respect what they're going for. I just don't know how enjoyable it is as a feature-length viewing experience.
Just for the sake of curiosity, I did look up kind of general Rotten Tomato scores for this.
Yeah.
Because I realized I hadn't seen a lot of discourse about this movie in general, and it's honestly one of the weird cases that I feel like doesn't happen that much, where the critic score is good, but the audience score is not.
No, I see that. Because, okay, I definitely engage more with the film's narrative than I do with most other aspects, because I feel like narrative is the one that I'm most equipped to engage with and talk about. I can recognize themes, and occasionally there's a really cool bit of camera work that'll get my attention, but film as a storytelling medium is primarily what catches my interest, and therefore the story is the main thing that I tend to hone in on and judge a film by, which isn't the most gestalt way of doing it, but it's what I feel equipped to do, and it's what I feel most comfortable talking about. And so for something like this, where it's a lot more contemplative and a lot more just walking around, waiting to get to the next part of something, is not the most engaging to me.
Fair.
But I really respect the idea, and it just makes the parts where they break from it all the more frustrating, because it's like, yeah, you could have at least stuck to it.
Yeah, you could have stuck around for this. There's a good kind of idea bubbling underneath the surface.
And I feel like there's one scene in particular near the end where it kind of has to be there to rationalize the ending, or at least help the audience get to understanding the end. Because in the little bit of discourse I've seen about this movie since looking it up after seeing it, it seemed like, at least based on, r/movies, which isn't necessarily the be-all end-all of discourse, but it seemed like a lot of people didn't necessarily like the ending.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I get that, but also I feel like that kind of needed to be there.
Mm.
You got anything else that's not a spoiler, you think?
I personally don't think so.
Alright. I would say this is worth a watch.
Yeah, it's worth seeing. Don't see it if you're squeamish, though. I will tell you that right away.
Don't see it if you're squeamish, and also, but don't expect it to be a total non-stop gore fest, because a lot of it is walking around in very beautiful naturescapes.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to get spoiled on In a Violent Nature, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. So, one thing I do find interesting is the reveal, a good chunk of the way through, that we're not just in a slasher movie, we're in a slasher sequel.
Oh yeah, because of the whole thing of how this has happened before.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, doesn't necessarily make it a sequel, but the fact that it seems like it's happened multiple times at this point for the one character who shows up having already dealt with Johnny's rampage and having heard from his dad about it before is the part that makes me feel like we're in a sequel, and this is the part where the previous main character shows up only to bite it in front of the new cast.
Which, even though, as far as we're both aware, there was never a movie made before this one, proverbially that is what happens.
No, like, when I say we're in a sequel, I don't mean it's literally a sequel to something that already happened. I just mean, in Scream meta terms, we are in a sequel where previously we might have thought, oh, we're in an original movie, we're in the first movie in the franchise. No, he's already woken up before, he's gone to Rampage. Apparently people have an idea of how to keep him down and how the rules work. Which isn't something you do get that in some horror movies, but I really feel like this one, once that other guy shows up, it feels more lived in.
Yeah.
But not for long. He does not last long.
He does not last long in the slightest.
No, and he gets a particularly gruesome death with a woodcutter.
While paralyzed.
Unpleasant!
That's some, like, Geneva Convention's war crime torture shit.
It could have been worse, though, because I thought Johnny was just gonna plop him on the thing, and then split him in half.
Yeah, but he just goes for the depravity.
No, it was definitely, like getting an arm chopped off first is worse.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad I thought he was gonna go for all the limbs once he did that. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, oh no, he's just testing the machine to make sure it actually works like that, which is pretty neat. That's probably the best use of the premise in the movie.
Yeah, honestly.
Where it's the killer not having an instinctive idea of what's gonna kill somebody and wanting to make sure, oh, is this gonna... Okay, yeah, I cut through his arm, it's fine. You can hear the gears turning.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's a thing, it's talked about a little bit that the killer is apparently the spirit of a mentally disabled kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of, sure?
Good problem solving, kiddo.
I don't know about that, but this kid is smart. This spirit is smart enough to figure its stuff out in the most gruesome and horrific ways possible. Some of which does also have the feeling of, does this work? Okay, what if we keep going? Oh, okay, yeah, I guess we could just follow through.
Yep. So, the points where it breaks, the first one is when it cuts to our group of victims who are sitting around a campfire while one of them basically exposits the killer's backstory. And it doesn't work very well, because, not just because the killer's not in the frame, I mean, maybe he is at points, it's kind of hard to tell, because it keeps rotating around the circle in one, like, continuous thing. And
yeah.
I honestly felt a little nauseated as it was going.
When that was happening, I'm just trying to sit there being, okay, is this going to be like some alien thing where it's, I guess in the first Alien movie, when we have this scene of Sigourney Weaver, like, chilling out, apparently the alien is in the room, and you can see the alien pretty clearly if you pay attention. I'm sitting there to be like, alright, do we see the killer? Do we see where he's at? No? Okay, stop this spinning, please. This is annoying now.
Yeah, it's just, it feels like you're on a cinematic tilt-a-whirl, and they take up too much of the screen, so you can't even really focus in and see if you can see the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on too long.
It goes on way too long.
I feel like it would have been better if partway through, or even just, if you wanted to adhere to your entire premise, you could have just had the killer standing a little ways off in the distance where they can't see him listening to it, and maybe even show his reaction, if he has one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's an important thing that the film brings up later, is the fact that the killer is ultimately human. Undead, sure. A monster, yeah, but a human monster.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would have gone a long way to helping the ending along, I think, to focus on his reaction to hearing his story, and not a weird merry-go-round shot of looking at our disposable cast reacting to or telling this story.
You're right.
Who was it he killed that prompted neck breaking and entering? Because that was a great joke by you.
It was,
Was it the first one?
Yeah, it was the first kill. It's the dude who's listening to music.
Right, the one who gets the hacksaw to the head.
Yeah.
Was it a hacksaw?
I think so.
Yeah. He
literally gets his head chopped in half against a tree, and it's god-awful to watch. But we see him, and this is the first source of very little music, but still music that makes you go, I need to look this up later. But yeah, he takes the guy's corpse to the ranger station and uses his cut-in-half head to break open the glass to the entrance of the ranger station and reach in and open the door, at which point I say, neck breaking and entering.
Yep, that was really good. I was quite proud of that one. I was proud for you.
Yeah. And then later on, we see him looking at a display with the history of the area that they're in and the history of the firefighting in the area, where we have the character's soon-to-be signature cattle hooks and firefighters mask, which he then uses the actual corpse to break. And it just reminded me of the scene in the Twisted Metal TV show, where Will Arnett goes into like a room with like security personnel who are trying to figure out what to do about him, and he takes a woman who gets shot up and killed and uses her as a shield and tosses her corpse at the guys with guns, at which point Will Arnett just says, "Women's body!"
Oh my god. Wait, Will Arnett says that?
Yeah, Will Arnett says that.
Oh my god.
He plays the killer clown in the Twisted Metal show.
Oh my god. What do you mean the killer clown is BoJack Horseman?
From the tiny bits I've seen of Twisted Metal, he is by far and away the best part.
What do you mean he's Lego Batman? Oh my god, I gotta watch this show now.
I was gonna say, and on that note, Sweet Tooth is the character's name. On that note, it's like, hey, I just convinced Cody to watch Twisted Metal.
Eventually, I still gotta watch a ton of other things. No, so, that was, you know what, that's another thing. This is gonna sound like it's not in the movie's favor, but I think it is. It's very riffable. Especially because it's got those long periods where there's no dialogue and just ambient sounds.
Yeah,
so,
no, this is, I was thinking that kind of at a certain point where I'm like, man, if it wasn't for how gory and horrific the small moments of gore is, this would be a wonderful movie to just have us sit down and make fun of as it goes.
Yeah, no, if you're one of those assholes like us who like sitting around making stupid jokes about movies while they're playing, this is a pretty damn good one.
This is a good contender.
Especially because most of the characters are cardboard cutouts. Not literally, but functionally.
Yeah. Although, I will give the movie props for breaking the mold of not having the black guy die first, because there's not a single black person in this movie, and also not having
I don't know that that's an improvement.
And also... and also not having the hot white girl die first. Because instead our first victim is a old dude who keeps on setting up bear traps in the wilderness despite being told multiple times not to, and dying by one of his own bear traps.
No, but also the lesbians die pretty early in. That's not
fair.
great.
No, it's not. It is not.
That's pretty typical 90s slasher.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them does get the most violent death in the whole movie, I think.
Oh, no, it's by far and away the most violent death I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Okay, and it's really funny because it's immediately preceded by a pretty tame one, where the other girl gets drowned in the lake, but they don't focus on it. We just see her disappear beneath the surface from a decently far off distance.
With a puddle of blood underneath her fall-off point, too.
And we see her come up once or twice. Actually, only once, and then just floats up dead.
Yeah.
That was pretty tame, and I was like, okay, that's an interesting thing to do, because usually in a movie like this, they would glorify that kind of thing, and they'd have a lot of shots of her underwater trying to scream for help or get back up to the surface while the killer is dragging her down. No, doesn't happen here.
And then next victim!
Next victim! They proceed to follow up with...
Grossness warning, by the way. Grossness warning.
You know what? If you got a problem with gore, definitely take care on this next part.
Mm-hmm.
So this other girl, I don't remember any of their names because they're all cardboard cutouts.
I don't know if they had names. I don't think these two had a name.
One was... I think they did? Two of them definitely did. No, wait, three? One was Chris, one was Colt, one was Troy.
Okay.
But anyways, that's none of those are this character. So this girl's just standing at like a lookout over a cliff-ish. Is it a cliff? It's a very steep slope.
It is an extremely steep and rocky slope.
And she's doing yoga, and she thinks it's the other girl, and then she realizes it's not her, runs to the edge of the ledge, is contemplating what to do, and then the killer, holding a metal hook, punches through her torso, so through her back, out her stomach, and then proceeds to... I think he wraps the chain around her ponytail or something?
Yeah, I think so.
And proceeds to pull her head forward, so that she's bending forward, pulls her head through the hole in her stomach out of her back.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and once again, our entire theater was just in unison, like, oh, and then just one dude just going, holy Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I was with him. 100%.
I was with him too, it's just like, god damn.
Look, for the most part, I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't say anything in a theater loud enough that other people can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case...
Yeah, it's fine.
There are exceptions.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. There's big crowd pleaser moments that are only going to happen once every 10 years or so. There's moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's particularly sad moments where, if somebody breaks down sobbing uncontrollably, hey, whatever. That's the intended emotional... You know what? That's probably when it's fine. When it's clearly the intended emotional reaction.
Right.
And in this case, the intended emotional reaction was, oh, fuck!
Yeah, it was.
And then he just lets her go tumbling down the cliff.
Yeah, she tumbles on the cliff, and I'm pretty sure at a certain point, her head actually becomes detached because her body stops when we hear a splash in the river down below.
That would make sense. I was a little busy being discomforted.
Same!
Yeah.
Same. I wasn't watching it, but I heard the splash. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. Fuck that shit.
Oh yeah, I like how when the two girls were flirting with each other, we both immediately raised our index finger like, hold up.
Yeah.
At the same time, just, oh, they're dead.
Oh, yeah, y'all are gonna die.
That was terrible. Okay, there's one really clever bit where Johnny gets to the cabin and he's trying to lure somebody out. So what he does is, one of the vehicles has an open window, so he grabs like a piece of wood or something, lays it on the horn, proceeds to walk around the back of the house.
Yeah, just as a lap around.
And then sneaks up behind the guy. He hears him coming, but he still gets him in the leg. That was good. Mm-hmm. That was really funny. Because, like, oh, right! This is a guy who can't teleport.
How is this gonna go down? He's gonna hide, or is like, no, he's just gonna literally do a lap around the building.
Yeah, no, that was refreshing, because it's like, oh, right, we're watching the killer, so he can't just implausibly disappear and then reappear.
Yeah, yeah.
So, rapidly it gets dwindled down to 2 people, and then very rapidly also goes down to 1 person.
He becomes one people, because one of the other people goes, oh, he sees us, I'll distract him real quick. And then you just make your way. I'll meet up right with you. He goes
I'll lead him to the trap.
I'll lead him to the trap. I won't let a single thing happen to you. And it's like, hey, you big, dumb, ugly guy, I'm right.
Dead. Immediately dead.
And it's like, get fucked.
Alright, you know what? I like that.
As much as I hate to say it because of how awfully gruesome it was, that was actually really funny.
Yeah, no, because it's like, yeah, you fucking thought, huh?
Yeah.
Bro really thought he was the main character.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, no, this is my movie, smack.
Oh, right, we never even mentioned that the whole thing was started by one dipshit taking a locket off of,
like a pipe or whatever.
Off a pipe and then handing it to his girlfriend, who is now the sole survivor.
Yeah.
So, she just leaves the locket.
She leaves the locket in place after watching her last friend getting brutally, just his head turned into paste.
Yeah, because I think Johnny took the ugly insult personally, because he just keeps wailing on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's the epitome of Kingpin as a kid and Daredevil going, keep kicking him! Keep kicking him!
Am I ugly? Schmack. Am I ugly? Schmack. Am I ugly? Schmack.
So there's an extended sequence of her running through the woods,
getting
something through her ankle, I don't know what.
A piece of wood or something.
How did that happen?
Maybe she tripped and fell through.
Yeah, maybe. So, then she gets picked up by someone driving down the road. He's trying to get her to the hospital. And there's an extended sequence of the woman who gave her a lift trying to get her to talk about what happened. And then, on hearing it was an animal attack, saying, don't worry, you're going to be okay. I've actually seen people get through worse, and go through this whole story about a brother, I think, who was a park ranger?
Either her brother or her husband, one or the other.
Or maybe it was husband's brother. Maybe it was brother-in-law. The important point is, it's about this bear, which who knows, maybe it wasn't a bear, maybe it was Johnny, who...
I think they were trying to imply that it was Johnny.
I'm a little uncertain, because it could be that, but it could also be to make a point of differentiation. Because the important point of the story is that this guy almost died to this potentially metaphorical, potentially actual bear, but he lived because the animal thought he was dead, and this animal had been going around killing a bunch of other things, like not even for food, just killing them. But it apparently wandered away once it thought he was dead, and then he was found and resuscitated and stitched up, and he was alright after that. And the key line that stuck with me is that animals don't need reason. And that's where I think this whole thing was important, because the killer's not in any of this. And then there's a point where the driver feels like she has to stop to try to patch up the girl's leg because the girl is bleeding pretty bad. And the girl's freaking out and doesn't want to stop because obviously she's afraid that Johnny's gonna be there, which isn't impossible, because I would have been like, okay, I'd be frustrated if it turned out that the whole time she hadn't wandered that far away, or she wandered too far away in the opposite direction, and now they just caught back up to where she originally was and Johnny's still there.
Yeah.
I'd be frustrated, but I wouldn't hate it. But he doesn't show up. And then it cuts back to the stuff that she left behind when she started running in the first place, and the locket's not there anymore.
Yeah, and movie cuts to black.
And I think that's the important point to me, because I think why that speech was kept was to rationalize why she gets away, and it's because Johnny is still technically human. He was disturbed and risen by the locket being taken, and on it being returned, doesn't necessarily have a reason to continue.
Yeah. It's
a little contradictory, because she asked about giving the locket back when encountering the previous protagonist, so to call him, whose name I don't know.
Yeah,
But he says that won't work, it's not going to work. But I don't know, I could also buy that maybe they tried it and it didn't work because they also tried to kill him immediately afterward.
Yeah.
So, who knows? The thing is, though, I kind of like the ending.
Yeah, the only problem with the ending in that conversation is that it does drag on a decent bit.
It does, and it's so shaky.
Because I was thinking when that was going, as it turns out, like, the woman that rescued the last girl was going to be in on it or somehow.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. And again, I do think that story was not necessary, but helpful for rationalizing the ending and why it plays out the way it does. But it's also a very long length of time to no longer show the killer anymore.
Yeah.
But I also think it was intentional to set up like, oh no, we're doing the classic horror twist, only to then go, no, actually, it's over.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
For now.
Because that was the thing that kept me going, because like, when I talk about movies doing jump scares and all that and building anxiety, that was me in the last bit, because I'm like, something's going to happen. Something is absolutely going to happen. They don't do this shit in these movies and nothing happens. And then when it turns out that it's like he took the locket and fucked off, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
Alright, well, I wasn't expecting that, but I'll take it, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought this was alright.
It was okay. It was just okay.
Yeah, I put this on my ranking list that I'm still doing for some reason, because I hate myself. I put this pretty much, it's the baseline of do I like it? Right now, it's like, do I like this movie more than In a Violent Nature? Yes. then I like it. No,
Yeah.
then I don't really like it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's in that threshold. I'm still glad I saw it, though. I still definitely recommend seeing it if you're a fan of slasher movies, especially if you want to see them do something a little different. I would just caution, it doesn't fully work.
Yeah, if you want to see a weird avant-garde thriller movie, then this is the one for you. It doesn't completely work, and even though there are very few moments of abject violence, the moments that do happen are particularly brutal.
They're pretty hard to swallow.
Yes. Oh my god.
What?
Just you saying that and my brain going back to the head chopped in half and the girl coming through her own body.
Jesus.
Christ.
In any case, I think that about wraps that up for this week. Next week, it's pretty much just Bad Boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the only real consideration is just Bad Boys.
Well, we'll figure it out. In any case, thanks so much for listening, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. That's super helpful, especially.
Oh, yeah.
And this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, a.k.a. the Starlit Troll.
And with Greg, a.k.a. Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!